Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, February 22nd, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. While the teachers and students have the week off, the Norwood Police Department made use of the empty schools by training for active shooter scenarios. Lieutenant Chris Padden explains the importance of these types of training drills.
Hi, my name is Lieutenant Chris Padden with the Norwood Police Department. We're here today at the Norwood High School doing some active shooter training. The purpose of the training is to get our guys acclimated to moving within the high school, dealing with any type of active shooter scenario that we have to. The scenario you just saw was basically an active shooter on the third floor. Our guys came into the hallway here. They went right because they had somebody that was injured on the hallway down there, and they had no other indicator of where to go. As soon as they headed down that hallway, they heard gunfire down the other hallway, so you saw they reversed direction, came down, chased the shooter down, engaged him, and put him under arrest. And so what we're trying to accomplish by this training is to get our guys used to moving together as a group in different various formations, clearing rooms, engaging active shooters. It's training that we don't get an opportunity to do too much of. So when we get an opportunity to use a school like the high school and do that type of thing, it's really beneficial for our patrol force.
Also in police news, last Saturday, the Norwood Police Department responded to a crash at the intersection of Cottage and Prospect Street. The vehicle struck a house on the street and was badly damaged. The driver managed to avoid any serious injuries. Last week, newly appointed Norfolk County Sheriff Jerome McDermott visited the Norwood Senior Center. McDermott spoke to the seniors of Norwood about various topics, one of which being scams.
And we go to the Council on Aging just to educate our seniors about scams that are being executed on our seniors. So we also teach them about some life-saving programs that are available through the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office. Probably the biggest one is the Are You OK program, and that's 1-866-900, the letters Are You OK, and it's just a simple phone call that we provide daily in partnership with Fallon Ambulance Service. It's another layer of protection for your loved ones. We encourage seniors to sign up for it, and really why we're out here today is to mix and mingle with the seniors, educate them on all the programs that are available, talk about these important safety programs, just life safety, God forbid they fall, but also we work in close partnership with all the 28 police chiefs to educate the seniors about the scams that are being executed on them on a daily basis. It's unfortunate, but we think education is the best way to prevent this from happening.
Stay tuned after this break to receive an update on the Boston Bruins PJ Drive.
Hi Norwood, Katie Seastead here, Program Director at the Recreation Department. We're here today talking about our summer applications. We have a couple positions available. We have lifeguards, pool maintenance, pool tag checkers, as well as camp counselors. Our applications are now available online or at the Civic Center. We strongly encourage our applicants to reach out if they have any questions, not the families, the applicants. All camp counselor applications need to be in by March 31st. All pool-related positions are open until filled, so we strongly encourage our candidates to get in here sooner rather than later. Once again, we are hiring for camp counselors, lifeguards, pool maintenance, as well as pool tag checkers. Any questions in regards to pools, please email Howard Weinstein. Any ones about camp counseling or summer camps, please email me. Thank you, Norwood, and we look forward to employing your kids.
Be my camp counselor. Be my lifeguard. Will you help check the pool tags?
Hey guys, I'm Allie. I was a camp counselor. I can't wait for camp this year, and I'm looking for new coworkers and counselors, so apply now at the Civic or online by March 31st.
Welcome back. Many departments around town are taking part in the Boston Bruins PJ Drive. Town Manager Tony Mazzucco and Selectman Paul Bishop update us on how the drive is going.
Hi folks, Selectman Paul Bishop here with Town Manager Tony Mazzucco, coming to you with an updated public service announcement regarding our pajama drive in our quest to beat Bourne. As many of you are aware, the whole community is joining with the Morrill Memorial Library in the annual Boston Bruins Pajama Drive, where we try to collect new pajamas for kids ages 0 to 18, for children throughout the state who do not have a clean, safe, comfortable pair of pajamas.
We're doing great this year so far. Norwood has already beat last year's donation totals by over 100 pairs of pajamas. We've challenged the town of Bourne and the Jonathan Bourne Public Library because every year they donate the most pajamas to the statewide pajama drive. Our goal this year is to beat Bourne, and we're well on our way there.
I want to thank everyone so far that has been donating. We have donation bins available in every town facility, including the library, the senior center, the town hall, the civic, the Department of Public Works, and our light department, and so on and so on.
There's a lot of community partners who have donated so far, including Siemens Health and Ears in Norwood, the Norwood Elks, the Winter Concert Series attendees, and especially our library staff who put together the drive every year, including Library Director Charlotte Kennelly and Library Youth Services Director Kate Teague, as well as the many volunteers that make the program happen every year.
Most importantly, we have a big announcement about the campaign. As of today, all Norwood schools have joined in the effort to beat Bourne. Norwood High School, the Coakley Middle School, the Oldham, the Cleveland, the Prescott, the Callahan, the Balch, the Willett, even the Little Mustangs preschool, as well as school administration. They've all joined together, including St. Catherine's School. So all the towns in the town of Norwood are now on board, and if you have a student in any one of these schools, please bring in a pair of unused new pajamas so that we can make them available to children in Norwood.
We have a little under 3 weeks until the campaign ends, and we have a lot more donations to collect. You can donate at any of these locations in Norwood.
We're happy to compete, and we think we can beat Bourne. As a matter of fact, we know we can. But this is really about providing warm, safe clothing for children in need. So thank you, and let's keep the donations coming. Thank you again.
Thanks to everyone that has donated around town. The Photo Voice Project focuses on a community issue related to public health, wellness, or social justice. Drug Free Communities Program Director Aubrey Seall explains how Norwood youth got involved with the project.
They took images took pictures around the community of things that relate to substance use. So what substance use looks like in the community to youth. So the project began as a result of Norwood's involvement in the Substance Abuse Prevention Collaborative, which is a regional collaborative. It's funded by the Bureau of Substance Addiction Services. So it's a state-funded project through Needham, and Norwood is part of their regional effort. So they spearheaded the project, and Norwood was fortunate enough to have some youth involved, and now we have their photos displayed here at Town Hall. The purpose of the project is to bring awareness to a community issue through the perspective of youth. We wanted adults in the community to see what substance use looks like to youth. All of the photos were titled, and the context was written by the youth. They met a few times over the summer to discuss the photos and title them. And yeah, so it was really a youth-driven project. If you want to learn more, you can go to impactnorwood.org for more information about the project and the coalition.
Stay tuned after this break to find out what is happening in your local government. Welcome back to Norwood News. On Tuesday, the Zoning Board of Appeals met to hold 3 public hearings. Hearings were held on cases concerning Manhattan Street, Endicott Street, and Morse Avenue. The proposed development on Morse Avenue has since been remodeled and downsized from the last appearance before the board in November.
Just by way of history for the folks in the audience and on the TV, the applicant was in here 2 months ago, Tom?
Yes, November 13th.
2 months ago, 3 months ago, with a proposal seeking the same request from lot area and frontage area, but with a larger proposal. Can I see that picture, Tom?
Yeah.
This was the previous proposal, 2,600, and now he shrunk it down to 2,200 after comments from the board and from the neighborhood that does not think the house would fit.
With a built-in condition of a fence being built on the property, the board approved the revised plan 5-0. The next meeting is February 26, which will be a joint executive session with the Board of Selectmen and Planning Board. Catching up from their snow day last week, the Board of Selectmen had a lot of business to discuss. The board met with Police Chief Brooks and Deputy Chief Kelly. With them was a special guest, Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey. The group discussed the Norfolk County Outreach Program.
I mean, the spectrum has changed these days, and how we handle some of these cases, and getting a better understanding, and we have a well-educated and well-informed police department. But on my biggest problem, people dying of drug overdose, I couldn't have better allies.
The board also received a department report from Travis Farley, the recreation superintendent. Farley gave a brief report on activities that have happened at the Civic this past month and programs that are coming up in the near future. During his manager's update, General Manager Tony Mazzucco presented 2 presentations to the Board of Selectmen. The first presentation, titled Peering Off a Cliff, gave the board a preview of what the general manager will be submitting in his budget. One item that Selectman Donahue and Mr. Mazzucco debated was the mothballing of the Forbes mansion to save on operation costs.
It's an excess building that serves no purpose to the town, and we have other needs that are a lot more critical related to public safety and taking care of our employees, and I'd rather cut that building out than I would cut a job.
Well, it has a value to it, and it has a sale value. And if you spend $150 to take away the sale value, then you're losing millions of dollars.
Hopefully this doesn't start till July 1st. Hopefully we'll
doesn't.
have it sold by then.
But why
Correct.
do we have it in there now then?
I would rather cut the power to that building and let the building fall apart than cut somebody's job, to be completely honest with you.
Well, look at it this way. If we have somebody who comes through and buys it and their RFP includes provision for rescuing the building and renovating it, if it means we have to turn back on the lights and water to keep it in a good enough condition to
For a few months,
hold
there's
that
still some
value,
money in there
we'll
to
be happy
maintain the
do
building,
it.
but what we're
That's
basically
not all
saying
the
is,
money.
no, there's still money in there to maintain it. We're basically mothballing it, and it won't be, so if anyone has any visions of using it in the next year or two, that's not likely to happen. We're just cutting it and closing it up and letting it sit there.
The next Board of Selectmen meeting will be Tuesday, February 26th at 7 p.m. The Conservation Commission met Wednesday night in room 12 of Town Hall. The Commission's agenda items included a meeting with Town Planning Economic Development Director Paul Halkiotis. 2 notices of intent were filed with the board, the first from the United Consultants and the second from Norwood Engineering. Coneco Engineers represented Boston Gas for a request of extension for a project located on Moore Street. The next Conservation Commission meeting is scheduled for March 6th at 7:30. Thursday night, the Finance Committee held their monthly meeting in room 24 of Town Hall. The main focus of this meeting was to review the preliminary budget from portions of general government. The meeting began with Tom Maloney, Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, requesting a reserve fund transfer. After a short discussion, the committee approved the request. Next, Town Manager Tony Mazzucco gave a 25-minute presentation on the FY 2020 general government budget. Mr. Mazzucco finished by summarizing his presentation.
So as we said, the FY20, some of the revenue changes, we did allow general government to skate by a bit this year. And that includes absorbing about $160,000 out of the school budget to assist the school department. FY21 through 24 will see service and position cuts unless there are some revenue changes. And those include, as I said, about 10 to 15 FTEs starting in FY21. We have to begin to trim things down. And I know there's a narrative that, sure, just trim government and just cut these things out and it's all good. But these are services we provide to the communities. Somebody was critical of my decision to want to cut Forbes Hill, but I'm going to cut a building before I cut a body, unfortunately. And some of these things, again, may include reducing our obligation to our retirees, which will be the first time the town of Norwood's done that in its history. I certainly don't recommend that, but at the end of the day, we have to reach a balanced budget each year. We have to try to do it in a way that provides the most services for the fewest dollars. So this was mainly for the Board of Selectmen. The FinCom begins its budget review this week, which is where we are. The BOS will begin their budget review in 2 to 3 weeks. The budget information, I believe, Kathy, is all on the website? Okay. Okay. So probably tomorrow we'll have it all on the website. The bottom line of the budget is not likely to change. There's going to be some small line adjustments to this budget as we're just finalizing salary numbers. The conversion to munis, as I told you this year, is adding an extra step to our budget process, which is necessary, and in a couple of years we will all be like, thank God we did that, but right now it's just a frustrating extra step to get things to balance.
Following Mr. Mazzucco's presentation, the board met with various town departments to discuss their budgets. To watch complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break to find out what is happening in your schools.
Your home for all things Norwood, online at norwoodcommunitymedia.org.
Welcome back. In school news, every 10 years, Norwood High School conducts a self-evaluation and hosts a visiting committee to evaluate the school in terms of its own goals, as well as the 7 standards for accreditation of the Commission of Public Secondary Schools. The New England Association of Schools and Colleges, NEASC, is the commission that awards accreditation, and there are many phases in this process. Recently, a NEASC committee visited Norwood High School, and Principal Dr. Hugh Galligan explains.
The NEASC accreditation process is a process that most high schools in Massachusetts and New England actually, and colleges as well, go through every 10 years in what's called a decennial visit. NEASC has recently undergone a new process where they run through a collaborative conference approximately a year or two before their larger visit. So what we have right now at Norwood High is a team of 4 professionals, administrators, and teachers from other districts in Massachusetts coming in, having been trained in this new collaborative conference method, working with Norwood High to look at our self-study, which we completed last year. The staff throughout that process, with feedback from parents and students and staff, identified some areas of growth, goals for the future that we wanted to work on.
In January of 2018, NHS began its self-reflection report. 40 staff members volunteered to serve on 5 committees, each committee addressing its own standard. After 10 meetings, each committee submitted its report, and on May 21st, the faculty unanimously voted to approve our 100-page reflection. After reviewing our report, especially our 3 priority areas for growth, a 4-member NEASC team visited NHS for 2 days in November, meeting with staff, students, and parents, and observing classes. When we receive the team's report this spring, we will begin implementing our growth plan as we prepare for our decennial visit in December 2020.
Today we are here as part of the New England Association of Schools and Colleges, and this opportunity is known as the Collaborative Conference. And I have a team here with me of 3 other educators from around Massachusetts, and we are working with the Norwood High School to review their self-report, their self-study, and it's an opportunity where the school can get together and do a reflection on where they are within the standards of the New England Association. So our work today is grounded on providing information for the school, the administration, faculty, and staff on what they can do to prepare for the 10-year visit, which will be in 2020. So it's a lot of great work. We're talking with students, faculty, staff, support staff, parents, students on bits and pieces of that report so that we can get an accurate reflection of where the school is along that continuum of improvement. We have the opportunity to walk into classrooms to just become immersed in the educational process, in what's happening in the classroom, how the students react to the instruction, how teachers are just instructing, and just get a good feel for how the school is. So today, we all had an opportunity to get into classrooms, talk to teachers, listen to instruction, just really get a good sense of how the school is functioning as far as instruction and how the curriculum is just permeating through the school day. Today we also had the opportunity to meet with the department heads at the high school level, and some of these department heads have responsibilities that are 6 through 12, some of them are K through 12. But we had the opportunity to sit with them today to have a reflection as to how they see their departments functioning, what the needs are, what their progress benchmarks have been, and what they're proud of within their programs, and also set some kind of benchmark for moving forward and improvement within their department. So great opportunity to share some professional time with these individuals to give us a good sense of actually what's happening within their departments.
We will continue to provide updates on the ongoing NEASC accreditation process. Also in school-related news, this week, NHS senior TV student Joe Spadorsha traveled to Carlsbad High School in California as part of an exchange program. He will spend the week there expanding his broadcasting knowledge from one of the premier high school programs in the country. Thursday morning, Joe appeared on Carlsbad's morning news program.
Good morning, Carlsbad. So as Ava said, this is Joe, an exchange student from Boston. So an exchange as he's coming here for a week. I'm going to Boston next Wednesday, so that's going to be really fun. I met him just yesterday, and we're going to spend the next 2 weeks with each other, so that's pretty cool. What are your first impressions of California?
Well, within the first 24 hours, I had the best food of my life. I had In-N-Out for the first time, which was crazy, so I know I'm in for a good week.
Yeah, so yesterday was his first In-N-Out and Ceci's experience, and I was able to witness that, so I was really proud to show him that food. So I know you guys have a broadcasting program in Norwood where you're from, so can you explain to me what that is?
Well, it's really similar to this. I mean, our studio isn't as beautiful, and we don't have nearly as much gear, but we do a pretty similar daily show, and we do a lot of other stuff too, but, you know, it's similar in that perspective.
Yeah, so broadcasting is a nationwide thing, so he does the same stuff we do in Boston, so it's pretty cool that I have the opportunity, and he has the opportunity to go experience that on opposite sides of the country. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
He's working the camera today, so he's going to be doing jobs. It's awesome. That's all I have for you today, Carlsbad. Now I'm going to send it back to the desk.
We will learn more about Joe's trip upon his return next week. Now let's toss it over to Brian Dunn for our sports news.
Hello again and welcome into the Sports Update, where we have breaking news hot off the presses. The MIAA committee met Friday morning to determine tournament seeding, and we now have a matchup. The girls varsity basketball team, as the 5th seed, will take on 12th seeded Scituate. That game will be played right here at Norwood High School. Stay tuned to NCM for coverage of this game and for coverage throughout the entire tournament stretch this coming week. 48 hours ago, the Norwood girls hockey team was on the outside looking in when it came to the playoff picture. They quickly turned that around with an absolutely incredible win over Franklin, who FYI were 16-1-2 going into that game, to give themselves a shot to clinch a tournament appearance on senior night versus St. Joseph's Prep. Before the game, we honored 3 senior leaders, Allie Kelleher, Jess Keller, and Rose Campbell, for their dedication to the program. And an emotional night turned into a great team victory for the Mustangs as they beat St. Joseph's Prep 7-2. It came down to the final game, but the Mustangs can finally say they are tournament bound. Let's go down to ice level, where the seniors share their thoughts on their playoff hopes becoming a reality.
It feels really good. Like, we knew we should have made tournament, and we finally did, so it's really fun.
Yeah, it's really exciting to finally make it. We've been working hard all season for it, so thank God it's finally here.
Yeah, especially our senior year. I'm so glad we're finally in it.
So is there any kind of nervous energy going into this game, or did you guys feel that you kind of had it locked in from the get-go?
After yesterday, I felt like we had it because we beat Franklin, who's a really good team, but I was a little nervous, just hoping that we would make it.
Yeah, definitely after beating Franklin, I think our mentality is definitely up. I definitely think we can do it if we work hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were a little nervous, but we definitely had it. We all knew it.
So what's the feeling going into the tournament? Is there any teams that you guys are looking out for, or what's the mentality now?
Well, we're definitely looking out for some of the teams we played, like Walpole. We lost to DY last year. They're at their first or second, so those teams would be fun to play again. But yeah.
Yeah, and like the prediction said, like we could be playing someone like Canton, who like we've seen in our regular season. So definitely looking for revenge in those games.
Yeah, I mean, I think any team we can beat. So yeah, we got it.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
In the final week of the regular season for the boys, they partook in senior festivities at Bagco. Seniors Michael Curley, Aiden Reardon, Austin Reardon, Chris Martin, Brandon Walsh, Michael Cahill, Matthew Hooley, Joseph Pedorcia, Matt Hennessy, David Hayes, and Hunter Ford were all honored before the game. The Mustangs wrap up the regular season campaign with a win over Latin Academy, 4-0. Postseason action continues in the pool, where the MIAA state competition was held at Boston University. Michaela Jordan caps off a wonderful Edicus career with the best time in the 100 breaststroke of 1:12:34. Good for top 20 in the state for Division II. Gia Rodriguez also swam best times in the 50 fly portion of the medley relay and the 200 freestyle relay. Congratulations on a wonderful career, you two. On the mat, wrestling competed in the D2 state championships. Danny Barron, Kevin White, Cordell Souther, and Ryan Sue represented the Mustangs as well. All athletes placed within the top 10, and Barron, White, and Souther will be moving on to all states coming up. The postseason march continues for the wrestling team. Over to the Reggie, we have the MIAA state track meet results, and Norwood captures some placements on the podium. Olivia Bodette places 7th in the indoor mile, Aiden Mulligan places 6th in the 300, and Solomon King secures an 8th place finish in the high jump. Congratulations to all the athletes that competed and made Norwood proud last weekend. Both Hoots teams wrapped up their seasons this past week. We have all-stars to announce. For the girls, Erin Reen and Megan Olbreeze earned Tri-Valley League All-Star honors, with Ali Kiambanco getting an honorable mention. For the boys, Penn Tomasello gets the TVL All-Star honor, with Gay Mario Coriolis getting an honorable mention. An impressive accomplishment indeed. Gymnastics will make history this coming Saturday as they will compete in the Division II South Sectional competition for the first time in school history. A record-breaking year for the gymnastics squad that continues to shine. Congratulations to head coach Karen Broderick and her team. That's a rundown for sports this week. As the regular season draws to a close, we turn our attention to the brackets. We already know girls basketball and both boys and girls hockey will be announced this Saturday. Stay tuned to Norwood Community Media on social media to find out where the teams are headed in the postseason. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you next week. Kristen, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Brian. Mark Ryan, superintendent of the DPW, has some tips for the residents of Norwood to save the town some money on waste disposal.
Hi everyone, Mark Ryan here from Public Works. I'm here to give you some tips on how you can help Norwood pay less for the collection and disposal of trash and recyclables. Regardless if it's trash or recyclables, we pay Waste Management a price per ton to get rid of that. So even though we want to recycle as much as we can, we're still paying to get rid of that. There are a lot of things that really shouldn't go in the trash. We dispose of 8,600 tons of recyclables and trash each year. If we reduce that by 10%, we would save over $170,000. If we reduce it by 15%, we're almost $250,000 savings. There are 8 easy ways to reduce what we throw away. Things like junk mail reduction, food that goes into the trash, or textiles. So if you go to the Public Works webpage and go under trash and recycling, you'll see 8 easy ways to reduce trash and recycling. One of the items is food scraps, and if you can believe it, 20% of what we throw in the trash is actually compostable food. Things like orange peels, coffee filter and coffee grounds, any peppers or onions or anything after a meal or after you cut up, that end up in the trash. 20% of that ends up in the trash. That's over $200,000 we're spending each year to get rid of food when it doesn't even belong there. So Public Works has some ideas for you. We've got some food compost products down at DPW at discounted rates thanks to a Mass DEP grant. You come down, you get some compost tumbler, countertop waste pails, and they all help you compost the food, make some great nutrient-rich soil you can use around the yard. If you want to compost food but don't have the room at your house, DPW has 2 sites you can drop it off at. I'm standing in front of one of them at the DPW yard. It's a food compost tumbler for residential food scraps. You can stop by anytime and throw your food scraps in there. We'll compost it, bring it up to the landfill, and add it to our leaf compost pile. Or you can go to the Winter Street Recycling Center every Saturday, 8 to 1:30. You can dispose of it there. So make sure, go to the DPW website, check out trash recycling, and find out how you can help out reduce Town of Norwood's trash and recycling costs. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Those are some great tips. Wednesday at Norwood Digest, author and NHS alumni Andrea Vaughn Skyped in with Jack McCarthy to talk about her upcoming visit to Norwood to raise awareness about educator sexual abuse.
How did the appearance in Norwood, how did it get set up?
That got set up because I was coming to Norwood back in November, and I thought, I would love to just do a little mini training. And then my wonderful friend Jackie Kane Smith, I let her know about that, and she reached out to the principal of her daughter's elementary school, and she loved the idea. And then, but it was like a week's notice, and nobody has time. That's not enough time for most people to pull together, and show up without any notice. So Jackie helped get me in touch with Dr. Frazick at the Coakley, and we had a meeting in November and planned it all out, and it was amazing. We just picked the date in March 13th, and she spoke with the high school principal and superintendent, and I just have to say I'm so proud of Norwood for embracing me to come back, knowing the story of what I went through, but putting the kids first. And the whole point of this is just to share information so that we do the right thing and protect our children. And I'm really excited to give back to Norwood because everyone has been so encouraging and supportive since I came forward publicly with my story. It's hard for me to express. I'm so full of gratitude. So I'm really excited to just give back. So the fact that Norwood was so receptive to this fills my heart with hope. It really does.
On March 13th, Andrea will be talking to educators and school personnel about how to break the cycle in educator abuse. Andrea's book, Invisible Target, tells her story of sexual abuse at the hands of a middle school teacher. The book is available on Amazon. Do not miss this training on March 13th that will be filmed and only shown here on Norwood Community Media. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.